Your Mets update for today. Mets are currently winning 2-1, and Buck Showalter was suspended for the game because the MLB deemed that Yohan Lopez intentionally threw at Kyle Schwarber last night. Lopez
Why is
also
Buck suspended for that?
Bro, I think it's hilarious how everybody gets to hit the New York Mets, but once the New York Mets hit somebody back, they lose their mind. Justice for Pete, justice for Buck, justice for the New York Mets. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the episode. God, right in the middle of my intro, you are the worst.
That was great timing.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of my podcast, joined by Connor, the Designated Players Podcast. How's everybody doing? Connor, are you done sneezing?
How's everybody doing? Am I everybody?
I'm talking to all the fans, man.
I am all the fans. It's just
You're
me.
the one who watches it 70 times.
Yes, I just downloaded on repeat.
You're the one who could download it 100 times and get yourself to 100.
That's cheating, though. I can't do that.
You're already 76.
I gotta build up some suspense.
Oh man.
Last episode of the season is 100.
Last episode, we knocked out the Western Conference quarter season roundup. So it's only fair we head over to the Eastern Conference. 3 questions, 3 answers. Try not to make it 3 hours.
Rapid fire.
But
and we're gonna start off. Oh no, Scarf of the week. That's what we're gonna start
what
off
with. What are we doing?
No, I didn't jump into anything.
All right,
I didn't jump into anything.
It's on the board. We've done it 2 episodes in a row. Now we've got to add it.
For the audio listeners, you're really missing out on a lot. He's drawing stick figures because he doesn't know how to draw. I think it says, "What are we doing?" At least draw a scarf on the man. Come on now.
All right, we'll get this.
Let's see your scarf ability.
You can't really see it on this.
That fell apart. I don't know what just happened, but
I'll redraw it for next episode. But in a pinch, that's the best I could do. What are we doing, Connor? It's on the board. Scarf of the week. I'll go first because clearly you've forgotten. Only one team has started off 5-0 on the road. All right, 2 teams, but one team has done it most recently. My New York Red Bulls. I've got a different Red Bull scarf.
You mentioned the last episode, and we weren't even talking about the Eastern Conference.
Well, we were supposed to, and then you rambled on for an hour.
I didn't ramble on for an hour. It would have been fine. We could fly through it. I got Inter Miami because Eastern Conference and pretty scarf.
Wow, real deep, deep one, bro.
What else am I just supposed to say about Inter Miami? They suck. So that was harsh. That was harsh. They don't. I mean, they're bad, but they don't.
Get him, Inter Miami fan. Slate him in the comments.
Come for me, Adam. All right. Why don't we kick things off? We'll do the same format as last time. Same 3 questions. For those that haven't listened, we are doing underperforming or overperforming for the team, their best player so far this season, and then their biggest surprise. And that could be anything ranging from player, performance in a competition. It could be coach firings or hirings. And speaking of coach firings and hirings, transition point,
Nice.
DC United. Underperforming or overperforming? This one should be pretty easy.
You know, for me, I'm just going to say kind of underperforming, but not as badly as I thought they would. Like, I put them at 10th because I had nowhere else to put them.
Me too.
I would have put them so much lower if I just didn't doubt my guys going to the moon, you know? So
yeah,
I'll go underperforming, but not terrible.
Yeah, I mean it's underperforming. Like we both had them at 10th. They're dead last right now, so they probably won't stay there for the whole season. But yeah, definitely underperforming at the moment. Best player. This might be a tough one, but best player.
They've got not 10 goals all season. 3 of those off of, or 4 assists in those.
9 of the 10 goals have come from 3 players. All strikers.
I'm going to go with Michael Estrada for his 1 breakout game.
Sure, that works.
I mean, listen, there's not a lot more you can add there. With the coaching decision to replace Hernan Losada, a lot of these players I don't think can be judged based off of the first couple of weeks. So that's just me.
Watch me judge them on the first couple of weeks.
I didn't say it was going to stop us.
Their best player this season, Taxi Fontas, and he's played less than 200 minutes. That's how bad they've been. He's got 2 goals and an assist. He's equaled Michael Estrada's goal contributions on the season, and he has made 3 appearances the entire year. So, Taxi Fontas to the moon, Red Bull in the mud, and DC United suck.
The only reason I didn't pick Taxi is because he's my answer to the next question, which is
what is your biggest surprise?
The fact that Taxi Fontas can step into a team like this and be the best player within 4 minutes. It literally took him 4 minutes to be the best player on the team. There were lots of rumblings that this guy was going to be a bust. That's why Red Bull didn't take him, because it didn't fit the system. That's another one. I need to put the system up here, like right here with a little trademark symbol. The system.
That's true. You got to put the system.
The fact that he came in and absolutely lit the world on fire, very surprising to me.
I would say, man, what's surprising for me about this team? It's a tough one. I would say Ola Kamara not scoring 15 penalties so far this season has been pretty surprising.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My other one I was gonna say is Ola Kamara having 4 goals. I had no idea he already had 4.
Yeah, and I could do a quick Google, a quick search, and finally find out that 3 of those 4 are most likely penalties.
Merchant.
I'm just gonna go with that because I literally have nothing else for them. I mean, I guess their performance so far this season has been a bit surprising, especially since they started the season. I don't know if it was 3-0 or 2-0. And since then, I've just completely collapsed. Oh, wait. No, this is an easy one. The firing of Hernan Losada.
Man, I wasn't going to stop you, but I got to be honest. You were up here. That was the only thing you said when we were like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
we're going to do biggest surprise. And it can be anything, like the Hernan Losada firing.
Yeah. I just blanked on it. I forgot to go back to it. But yeah, that's definitely been their biggest surprise so far this season. It was way earlier than we expected it to be, despite the fact that they were struggling. It was like, this team's like 3 or 4 points out of like a playoff spot right now, and you fired him, which is just mind blowing to me. Guy didn't even have a full like season and a half to do anything, or I don't even know. I don't think he had a full season. Like I think he's been here for a year, but not a full season.
I think he got the full season last.
He had the full season last year?
Yeah.
Okay. Regardless, way too early. Big surprise. On to the next team.
Hold on, before you go.
What?
Yikes, that was aggressive.
You're holding me up.
Ola Kamara, 2 goals so far that I'm looking at.
2 penalties.
And okay, so Ola Kamara is 3 of his 4 goals, not from penalties.
Oh, big year from him.
I know. How dare you call him a merchant?
All right, now can I go on to the next team?
I guess.
I mean, you put out my steam because I was on fire rolling into the next team. Chicago Fire. The next team up.
You are causing me way too much pain. Oh my God.
This one should be obvious for you. not as much for me, but underperforming or overperforming?
Underperforming.
Care to elaborate?
I mean, they are deciding that they're going to use their striker as a winger and serve crosses into a 5'4" Shaqiri. I don't think that Ezra Hendrickson has got it right yet, but this team deserves more than what they have earned. Now, they've got some moves in the making that I think will be beneficial to them. I've heard that they are linked with Chris Mueller. I have also heard that they are linked with Renato Steffen from Wolfsburg. So more attacking reinforcements on the way to hopefully prevent Kasper Shabilko from going out wide so he can score goals.
Yeah, I'm going to say underperforming as well, not to nearly the extent that you had it, because I had them finishing 11th and they're in 13th. So it's slightly underperforming for me. Believe it or not, I did not think Kasper Shabilko was going to win the Golden Boot because I was conscious that episode and you were clearly unconscious.
That's because you're a fraud.
So now that we've cleared up that Kasper Shabilko is not the best player on this team, who is the best player on this team?
Chisos. Did I pronounce that? Yeah, I'm going to go Chiziko. I still can't pronounce his name, but he's a center back from Germany. I told you he was going to have a great year. And this team has had how many clean sheets already?
A lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9 games have been clean, or 10 games have been clean sheets. Yeah, right into my veins. That doesn't happen unless you bring in that center back.
Yeah, I was going to go with him as well. I think he grabbed even 2 goals in the US Open Cup game as well. So huge year for him so far, sliding right into this league and playing so comfortably. Really the only thing keeping Chicago and anywhere like in and around the playoff hunt at the moment is the fact that they've been so good defensively, and he's such a big part of it. What would you say has been the biggest surprise for this team?
Their inability to score goals with the players that they have in attack. I mean, you're looking at a Champions League winner, a guy who's consistently double-digit goals, Fabian Herbers, who has a podcast, Ivanov, who you signed in Football Manager, Brian Gutierrez, who's been tabbed as one of the next best attacking midfielders in men's national team pool, John Espinoza, and John Duran as well, who got a start against Red Bull last week. All those players, and Gaston Jimenez playing as like a 6'8" type of player. All those players should be creating more goals than they are. Period.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a given. I think, are they the lowest scoring team in the league?
They've got to be, right?
6 goals. No, they're tied with Vancouver.
All right, that's not an accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an accomplishment. I didn't know Vancouver scored that little.
San Jose have 15 goals scored, and they're
That's San Jose. That's them every
the
season.
Third most goals scored in the West, and they're bottom of the table. Oh,
they've conceded 23 times. Like they've conceded the most, and it's not even close to the second.
I know we only talked about the West, but man, put that right in my veins.
So that's wild.
Remember when you said Cincinnati was winning the most goals against award again? Yeah,
I clearly underrated.
I'll sit here and wait for your apology.
I was not expecting Jackson Ewell center back at the start of the season. All right. Give me a break.
You don't get a break.
The biggest surprise for the Chicago Fire this season is a 37-year-old Jonathan Bornstein playing 239 minutes so far this season. And, obviously doing pretty well in those 239 minutes. I know. I think the biggest surprise. I'm gonna go Wyatt Omsberg.
I was about to say, how are you passing up on Wyatt Omsberg here?
No. I wasn't actually gonna go with Bornstein, but yeah, Wyatt Omsberg. I mean, we did our grades for off-season moves, and when they kept him, pretty sure both of us gave him an F for bringing back Wyatt Omsberg, and clearly he was listening, and must have seen the post because he has really channeled that resentment towards us and has balled out the season for Chicago in defense. So
You're welcome, Chicago.
you're welcome, Wyatt.
I
Come
just
on the
want to point
podcast
out
and defend
that
yourself.
he has made massive strides at being from 6.2 to 6.8 in 9 games. Man, pretty good.
Yeah. Side note, I knew Slanina was young, but he's 17.
Hey, you didn't know that?
And he's like already arguably the top goalkeeper in the league.
Did you know he's also trending?
He's trending right now.
I don't know if he's trending right now, but I80 Sports tweeted a picture of the trending tab, and it was just hashtag Gaga.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no other Gagas, right? Like he's the only Gaga.
And your guess is as good as mine.
All right. We are already on great pace for this to be a 3-hour episode. But we will move on to Inter Miami. What to say about Inter Miami? This might be a tricky one, but underperforming or overperforming?
They're right where I expected them to be, right?
They are. We did have them in 12th.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I'll say that they are on a good streak, but are getting ready to go back to normal, I think. By that I mean they started off really bad, won like 4 in a row, and I think now they're coming back down from that high, and they're like, okay, I gotta realize what's going on here.
Remember who they are for a second. Yeah, I think I would say even though I had them at 13th, I think it's spot on. They played pretty much exactly where we expected them to be. For me, I would say they've been in the picture more than I expected them to be. I kind of thought there'd be more of a gap between the teams. So I would say, I would still say they performed at the level we expected them, but a little bit better than I also expected as well. So best player should be pretty easy. Gonzalo Higuain. Yes. Let's move on.
You're gonna be serious.
Go ahead.
No, it's yours first. Go ahead.
Leonardo Campagna.
Yep.
Has easily been their best player all season. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist, and has relegated Gonzalo Higuain to the bench. That is the biggest accomplishment from him because ever since they benched him, it's been an absolute revolution on this team. And to anybody with a set of eyes, that's not surprising because Gonzalo Higuain provides nothing but selfishness on the field. So thank you, Leonardo Campagna, for moving him to the bench.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. There's nobody else you really get to pick here, do you?
No, you don't. Biggest surprise this season.
Goodness me.
That's super easy.
I think my biggest surprise Probably going to be Noah Allen, an 18-year-old left back who they called in on an emergency contract. The reason why it's a surprise because Kieran Gibbs still exists. So the
For
fact
some
that
reason.
Kieran Gibbs got benched for an 18-year-old American kid is something I didn't see Phil Neville ever doing. So it's just a bit of a shock. And Brek Shea, but that's less shocking.
Yeah, that I don't know. I think Gibbs and Breck Shea getting benched is not overly shocking. Both of them are pretty past it at this point. I would say most shocking for me, Gonzalo Higuain getting benched. I kind of didn't expect that to happen, or at least not this soon. I kind of saw him probably starting until they finally just decided to dump him. But I don't blame Miami for doing so because Campagna has been red hot, and I think if you move Campagna out of the striker position, his performances wouldn't be as strong. So you obviously, in that case, have to bench Higuain in order to play him in, his best position at the moment. So good move, but it was surprising for me. I didn't expect it to happen so early. On to the next one, where we're talking about a team on their way to the moon, FC Cincinnati.
I'm going to say overperforming,
Yeah, are you sure about that one? You want to think about that one again?
which hurts me because this team is destined for the moon. But yeah, give me an overperforming FC Cincinnati at the moment.
Yeah, overperforming, obviously. Granted, you had them not dead last, unlike me. I thought they'd be wooden spoon.
Yeah, because
easily.
I'm not a fraud.
You had them 13th,
all
so
aboard.
let's not act like you put them higher.
And you are a fraud. Let's just make this clear.
Well, we'll cover who you had in last when we're talking about frauds. FCC obviously overperforming based on what I had expected for them. And that really comes down to my best player for them, Brandon Vasquez. Out of nowhere. He's probably going to end up being your biggest surprise, I would say. But 5 goals, 1 assist so far this season, pretty much out of nowhere. It's been an absolute meteoric rise for him this season. Some would even say if he continues this form, all of a sudden he's, in and around the national team picture, at least for Nations League.
Easy.
But I'm saying he's in the picture for Nations League. If he continues the form, why not? Take a flyer. Are you against it? Not for the World Cup. I wouldn't obviously take him for the World Cup. Anyway, that's probably a bit too high on Brandon Vasquez. But who's your best player?
My best player is I know I'm not engaging with you. I'm preparing for my most surprising pick because I was gonna talk about Brandon Vasquez, but something else just caught my eye. So my best player is Lucia Costa, leading the league in chances created. Easily the best number 10. No, I can't say the best number 10 in the league right now. That's excessive and unnecessary.
Definitely not the best number 10.
He's a top 5 chance creator.
Yeah,
I think that's safe to say. But this is the Lucia Costa from DC United that we were expecting to see. So really nice to see him back and pulling the strings for this this Cincinnati team that desperately needed somebody to do that. So,
all right, I'm excited for your biggest surprise here. What you got?
The emergence of Roman Celentano. So I know you probably haven't watched a lot of FCC, but Alec Khan was not even brought in the game day squad for the last 2 games. And Roman Celentano, I believe, Generation Adidas goalkeeper from Indiana University this year, has been, he was the number 2 overall selection. He played both games over the last 2 weekends, losing barely to Los Angeles FC, LAFC, for those of you who may not know, but boasting a 7.7 rating on WhoScored.com, and then picking up a win against a Toronto team 2-1, and boasting a 6.4 rating. But I did not see this one coming. I will be honest with you. I thought Alec Khan was the guy to go to. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's just fallen out of form, because the backup goalkeeper on the game day list was Kenneth Vermeer. But Alec Khan was the guy we all thought was going to be number one. Saltano made 6 saves against LAFC, something that definitely went under the radar for me. And if I wasn't living on the soccer field every weekend, I definitely would have talked about that in one of our episodes. But yeah, that is something I did not see coming, and very surprising, but exciting, because I always love seeing a good youth goalkeeper. So
my surprise for FCC is Brenner being goalless so far. I think he definitely didn't have the start we expected him to have last season. However, there were still some signs that he would be able to pick it up and find some form this year. But I think he was out at the start of the season and has slowly kind of worked his way back into the lineup, but has over 300 minutes so far this season, still 0 goals on the board, only 1 assist. Really not doing much for FCC. For a guy that cost as much as he did, you would have better expectations for him. I mean, honestly, I feel like Barca was producing more, but obviously I'll still give him some more time. It's a bit early into the season, but he needs to get going. Brandon Vasquez needs help. He can't do it all by himself.
yeah, the system they play is just the 1 striker system, so it's going to be tough to see him get in. But yeah, definitely a bit crazy that this guy, who is one of the most expensive purchases in league history, struggling to even get on the pitch.
Yeah, not great. Not a good look.
No.
On to the next one. We return from the moon, or do we? Because we're talking about Charlotte FC.
Yeah, we're back down.
All right. Underperforming or overperforming for Charlotte so far?
An expansion team not in dead last, always overperforming.
I don't know if I would say always overperforming. There's been plenty of expansion teams that have been good. I would say they are overperforming, but not by a ton. They're overperforming by a bit at the moment. They had an awful first game. Granted, first game ever, They've rebounded since then, have looked much better in the last few weeks. In terms of league form, they don't have any wins in their last 3 games, however. So maybe starting to slide a little bit back towards the bottom of the table. Who's been their best player so far? I feel like there's maybe 1 or 2 options here.
I'm going to go Karol Swiderski.
What would
Because the other option is my biggest surprise. Swiderski, 4 goals in just under 800 minutes. The only reason really he's been anything, this team has been anything sort of competitive. Yeah, that's pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I'll go with the other one. Ben Bender has also been great for them. I think him and Swiderski have really been the driving force behind this team so far. Granted, a couple of other players have, contributed pretty well in addition. I don't want to go too much into it because I do want to give you some stuff to talk about. Transition into biggest surprise. What is your biggest surprise?
The emergence of Ben Bender as
wow, that was so surprising. I didn't expect that.
The single best player on Charlotte FC. Some college kid they took first overall has absolutely pulled every string. known to man on that side. He's played so much above his age for for all 10 games he's been a part of now. You could tell as soon as he stepped on the field, the dynamic changed, right? We talked about how early on in the season, you could see there was something that they were missing, but they had an idea of how they wanted to do it. That thing they were missing was Ben Bender. When Ben Bender came in, those things started coming together. So a goal and 3 assists, 4 goal contributions. The man knows how to play football. Just let him play football.
I would say the biggest surprise for me is a bit of a different one for me. Them breaking the attendance record. I honestly didn't know that there was that much hype around this team, that they would go on and have 75,000 people at their home opener. I mean, that's mind blowing. I did not expect that. I would expect it from maybe a new team in a larger city, maybe one that has a bit more like grassroots with the sport, but I totally didn't expect that from Charlotte. So it was completely surprising to me when they broke the record.
Well, you always had the Charlotte Independence, the North Carolina FC. You always had football in the Carolinas. It's just a matter of
Not perfect. Not, I shouldn't say not
right,
level.
not top tier though, right? I got a buddy who is a season ticket holder, and he told me he's a bartender, and he told me everybody that he ran into I was serving, the weekend before, was either talking about where they were going to watch it or talking about how they were going to get there. I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
So
Hype that down.
I should probably reach out to him and ask him a little bit about it. But he said that the hype was massive, as is usual for a new professional team, the amount of marketing that goes into that. But
trick is sustaining it.
Correct. And we had that conversation a few weeks ago.
Yep. We had that conversation in episode 100. Give it a listen.
We did, didn't we?
I'm sure we did. We talked about a lot of things.
We did. We had a good chat.
To me, kind of surprisingly, sitting in 9th right now is the New England Revolution. And I say surprisingly because I thought they were in worse shape than 9th, to be honest.
I think it's too early to be surprised by a placement, because as I mentioned, right, one win for them gets them in 5th, maybe 6th based off of, so like 9th is definitely underperforming, to answer your question. But it's not like they're down and out. It's not like they're Vancouver.
Shots fired at Vancouver.
Pew, 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 pew. Definitely underperforming, but again, it's too early to panic. But there are definitely issues in this side, and we I tweet about it a lot when I'm watching the Revs. But man, oh man, do they miss Matt Turner?
Well, he's back now.
Well, it showed, right? He comes back, he gets clean sheet. But man, oh man, did they miss Matt Turner?
Yeah, in some fairness to them, they were missing a few guys. I think I remember at some point Farrell and Kessler, I think, were out, and Matt Turner. So there was tons of rotation in the back line.
Oh, so center back 3 and 4 doesn't work for Portland, but it does work for the Revs. Interesting.
I didn't realize Portland were missing their starting goalkeeper too. I'm not saying that New England are doing anything great. I mean, they were barely. I feel like I looked at the standings just the other day, and they were sitting bottom or like second bottom of the East. So, they went from points record to barely surviving the bottom. I would definitely say I guess they've been surviving just for the fact that the East has been kind of a mess this season. However, I totally see that. I think the team is underperforming. I think that's obvious. You don't go from points record to 9th place and not underperform. But I think this team's going to rebound very quickly right now. I think they're getting healthy again. Honestly, I feel like at this point they're just missing Gustavo Bo, give or take. Maybe other people, from what it looks like, just Gustavo Bo. If they get him back, they're going to be firing off again, and they'll quickly move up the table. So temporary underperforming. Who's their best player so far this season?
Do you even need to ask?
I am contractually obligated to ask.
Carlos Heel, not even close. 3 goals, 4 assists in 750 minutes. Man pulls the strings, best player on the team by like a mile. No hesitation.
Yeah, he's such a good player. Crazy. Biggest surprise. What's been surprising for them so far?
What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
Who is your best player?
I said Heel.
You didn't say I agree. I think he is the best player. He's so good. You just said, yeah, he's really good.
Okay, I agree. He is the best player. He is so good.
Um,
Now I officially said it.
There you go. Good job. Biggest surprise for me is Omar Gonzalez has played 400 minutes this year.
Oh,
Criminal.
pardon me while I throw up really quick.
Criminal.
I would say, oh man, what's the biggest surprise for me? Biggest surprise for me, I'd say Cap Toombs still not getting in the team. I feel like there was a lot of rotation in this team, especially with CCL, and he's played 91 minutes so far in the league. I remember when they brought him in, obviously it was a quiet season for them in terms of the offseason, but I'm just so surprised at how far out of the team he feels right now. He's only got, I think I mentioned this, but he's only got 91 minutes so far this season. 3 sub appearances, 1 start. Not great.
No, not ideal.
Trying to see if I missed anything else. Nah, I think it's fine. On to the next one. And we are talking Toronto FC.
8th place Toronto FC, huh?
8th is Toronto FC. Underperforming or overperforming?
They are equally performing where I expected them to be before Lorenzo Insigne showed up.
Okay. Honestly, sometimes I forget that he's still coming.
I know, right? Because this team is so bad. You're like, oh man, they're done.
Yeah, I had them sitting 9th in my standings predictions, so they are basically exactly where I thought they'd be.
This is where I thought they'd be too, at the midway point or the quarter point.
Well, I guess my assumption is that Insigne is not gonna skyrocket them up the league when he comes in.
You're a hater.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. Best player on the team. Feel like this one pretty obvious. Well, maybe not.
There's only one answer.
Chris Mavinga. Michael Bradley.
He's bald. His dad is bald. His bald dad coaches his bald son, Michael Bradley, to the moon. And to the moon, I mean to Qatar. Thank you very much.
You think there's ever been a father?
My buddies were having a conversation today about who the best midfield trio was, either Modric, Casemiro, Cruz, or Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. And with zero hesitation, I go, can I interest any of you in the midfield 3 of 2004 team? Michael Bradley, Jermaine Jones, and Kyle Beckerman.
Yeah, that's probably when they stopped talking to you.
Yeah, the conversation ended pretty quick. But it was funny because they were trying to talk about this, and I was like, well, my buddy's a big Barcelona fan. I go, well, let me ask you this. When's the last time any of them scored a goal at the Azteca from 40 yards out? Point proven. Michael Bradley.
Point proven.
Michael Bradley, clear. No, it's Jesus Jimenez. I mentioned that he was going to be really good at the beginning of the season. I want that put on record because I did say that. And he has 7 goals and 1 assist. He's been absolutely prolific in front of goal. And the only reason that they are where they are because nobody else has really put the ball away.
Yeah, I think he's been their best player as well. I didn't realize that Pozuelo and Jonathan Osorio had such high ratings. 5 goal contributions for the 2 of them as well. Higher than I expected. But yeah, Jesus Jimenez, he's just I feel like for a lot of people, he's been quietly scoring a ton of goals. I mean, I think he's close, if not like tied for Golden Boot at the moment. But he's definitely up there. I mean, he's really made the striker position his own for Toronto. Biggest surprise for you? Well, actually, I'll go first. Speaking of the striker position, my biggest surprise is Iwakanola. He has 16 minutes so far this season. And I'm currently checking to see if he was hurt.
Well, yeah,
And
he had the
maybe
knee injury, right?
yes. Okay. Never mind. I take that back. He was out for most of the season with the injury. I didn't know if he came back earlier. He was on the bench for 2 games, and then he got 16 minutes against Cincy. But with the way Jimenez is playing, it's going to be tough for Akinola to get back in there. I'll let you go then while I think of a different one, because that's not a fair surprise to say.
For me, it is the number of youth players that Toronto are cycling in. I feel like it's always been about like the big three plus some really good veterans for a long time. Number of players that have at least 100 minutes and are under 20 or 23 years or under. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 players who have at least 100 minutes this season. Rotating in all different positions, right? So Luca Petrasso, who we've spoken about, Jacob Schaffelberg, who we've spoken about, Jaden Nelson, Kosi Thompson, Lucas McNaughton, sorry, not Lucas McNaughton, Caden Chung, Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, Nobel Okello, and DeAndre Kerr all have at least 100 minutes. And then you've also got Jordan Perusa and Ralph Priso, who are substitute appearance, and I believe Ralph Priso got hurt earlier in the year. But I mean, I can't remember a time where the majority of the players who have seen time for Toronto are under the age of 23. So that kind of threw me for a loop, if you will.
I'm gonna say my biggest surprise is Salcedo. He has not hit the ground running.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. He's the 14th highest rated player. Carlos
Who are
Salcedo.
you?
Huh? So am I. I mean, I wish I was. I wouldn't be here right now. But yeah, Salcedo, not a great start to the season. Granted, he doesn't have a lot of help around him. I think we kind of expected this somewhat, but I thought he himself would be a better performer. I expected the team to struggle defensively, but he has not helped the cause, that's for sure. Expected more out of someone who came in as like one of the better center backs in the league.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, when they take the pressure off of him and let Insigne do his job and Bellotti, if he comes in, do his job, Salcedo will skyrocket back to where he belongs. We'll be okay.
Speaking of skyrocketing, we're talking about Atlanta United because we are skyrocketing to the moon.
Try again. You've run out of fuel. You are now plummeting to the bottom of the earth.
We're just refueling and then we're going right back up.
Jesus. You guys.
Underperforming or overperforming?
I'm going to be nice here, Connor.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are performing exactly where I would expect you to with the injuries that you have.
Yeah. I would actually say I think that I still think we're underperforming, but not by a lot. Obviously, the injuries are, really taking a toll on this team. I mean, so many guys have been injured. It's crazy. But I still think that this team should be playing a little bit better than they have been. I mean, for the most part, outside of like the recent Guzan injury, they've been pretty healthy in the back line. And yet we still have conceded 13 goals so far this season, which, it's around average, but I feel like that back line should be better. I mean, Miles Robinson is a USMNT starter. Alan Franco was a massive center back name when he came into the league. And George Campbell is one of the most exciting young center backs coming up in the league. To pair that all with a veteran goalkeeper like Guzan, I would expect more out of the defense. So that's kind of the part where I feel like we are underperforming. Best player. This might be kind of tough.
Maybe Marcelino Moreno. I think 2 goals, 2 assists. Him and Almada could go either way. But I think Moreno's shouldered more of the responsibility in the attack. And I think he has done well with what he has, right? He doesn't really have a striker anymore, or a striker that he's comfortable with. He's got to get more acclimated. He's done a lot of work on his own, but I can see this being another long season if Josef doesn't come back quickly.
You're trying to say that Dom Dwyer can't get the job done?
I'm absolutely saying Dom Dwyer can't get the job done.
I would say the best player for me has been Brooks Lennon. He's picked up right where he left off from last season. He's playing super well for this team, really has found a home here. I feel like, Moreno's played well, but I just feel like Moreno could play better. And I think part of it is what you said, where he doesn't, I think if you give him Araujo and you give him Josef, he plays much better. And I hope at some point we get to see the 4 of them play together, because that would just be insane. That would be so fun to watch. But I think Brooks Lennon has been providing a lot going forward and doing a decent enough job defensively. Really been a great attacking part on the right side. Whether he's been playing in the more attacking role or if they put him at right backs. I feel like at some points we were so injured that he was our right attacking mid, which kind of tells you how things have been going for this season. What about your biggest surprise?
I've got 2. First off, the best signing that Atlanta has made all in their history, and Luis Araujo both have the same amount of goals.
Are you alluding to Jake Mulroney?
You're damn right. I'm alluding to Jake Mulroney. Jake Mulroney has 30 more minutes and the same amount of goal contributions as $15 million Luis Araujo. Yeah, right into my veins. Thank you very much.
He got hurt. What do you want him to do?
Not get hurt. And that's
hard on this team,
because him and Jake Mulroney have the same amount of minutes.
Yeah, but some of those minutes is Araujo just trying to get back from injury.
No. Anyways, the real one for me, Caleb Wiley, coming out of the academy and putting up 200 minutes so far this season, playing as a defender and as a winger, scoring that goal on his debut, really showing that he's got a bit about him, and I think you'll see him in the youth national team setup for a while, and then we're talking about people who can give Jedi Robinson a run. Watch out for his name in a few years. You never know.
I don't know why they have Caleb Wiley listed as a defender, because he is not a defender.
Well, he played as a left back on his debut.
No, he didn't play as a left back. Gutman plays as a left back.
No, they subbed him on for Gutman.
I gotta look this up now. I don't remember him playing left back. I've always remembered him playing as a winger.
Unless he got subbed in and then moved up, but I'm pretty sure he went on for Gutman.
Yes, so we just confirmed that Caleb Wiley did not come on for Gutman. I mean, Atlanta fans, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I've seen him playing as a winger for the whole season. I think he's better as a winger than he would be as a defender. But granted, I haven't seen him as a defender, so I can't really say. Surprise for me. I'm surprised at how injured this team has been getting. I know it's kind of an obvious one, but Guzan hurt, Josef hurt, Araujo was hurt, Moreno was hurt. I don't know if he was hurt or if he had visa issues to start the season. Might have been visa stuff. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like everybody's getting hurt at some point. I mean, I think Santiago Sosa missed games. Granted, I don't know if that's visa related as well. I don't know what's going on. Ozzy Alonso pretty much done for the year. I don't know what's going
Done for
on.
his career,
Don't say that. He's coming back.
you clown.
I don't know what's going on with the team. I don't know if it's a training thing or if it's the turf or something, but the team is in an injury crisis, that's for sure. And this team, they got some depth, but they're going to be relying a lot on their young guys this season, more so than they have in the past. You're going to see Tyler Wolf's, Caleb Wiley's, Franco Ibarra's getting pretty decent minutes this season. Jackson Conway most likely as well. So it's going to be interesting for Atlanta. You're going to see some weird combinations going on. All right, we waffled on too long about Atlanta. That's my fault.
You didn't give me my most. Did I say most surprising?
Didn't you say Caleb Wiley?
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm trying to figure out whether you think the Columbus Crew are under or overperforming. Yes, I think we're gonna have differing answers on this one.
Considering you put them top of the East,
I got them second. I had them second.
Where do I have them? 9th, and they're 7th.
The sixth. They're like right in between both of our predictions.
Yeah, I'll say they're right about where I expected them to be. Right? What are they? A game off of? Yeah, they're one game off.
Everybody's a game off of our
Yeah, they're one game off of being 13th. Yeah, they're pretty much exactly what I expected out of them.
They're slightly underperforming for me. The start of the season was more on par with what I thought they would do, and then they hit a kind of a rough patch. But hopefully, the last demolition of DC United will kickstart them back into gear. So they lost 4 straight at one point, which is pretty bad. I think did they lose US Open Cup too?
Yes.
Yeah. So not great. But what is pretty actually, I'm not gonna say this one's obvious because I feel like you might not go with him. No, this one's obvious. Who's the best player?
In Columbus?
Yes.
What part of Lucas Zelarayan would not be?
Because I feel like you would be the type to pick Derek Etienne.
All right. So you if you want to just talk more about my most surprising, then
I know you were going to go with him as most surprising. It's obvious. I'm pretty sure the people listening could know you were going with Derek Etienne. Yes, Lucas Zelarayan is the best player. We both agree. He's got 4 men of the matches so far. It couldn't be more obvious. Let's move on. Talk to me about Derek Etienne and why he is your surprise for the season.
So I was torn between, and I think you're going to pick up the other guy for most surprising, so I'll let you have it. Derek Etienne never scored more than 5 goals in a season, and that was over 1,000 minutes. He played almost 1,900 minutes last year, had 1 goal. In just under 700 minutes, he's got 3 goals, 2 assists already. He has been revitalized under this new Caleb Porter system, and is really thriving in that attacking role, something that we all knew as supporters of Red Bull, we all knew he had the potential to do, but he just never was able to find that finishing touch for us. Always got in great spots, but very much like Alex Muil, got in great spots, but never had the composure to finish when he was at that young age, right? Because we took them on as homegrown players. But he's finally kind of grown into himself, and you can see it blossoming really well. Him and Zelarayan work really well together. He plays off of very, very nicely. It's a very pleasant surprise to see him achieving the potential that we knew he had.
All right, so I guess I'm not going to go with the obvious one. I'm not going to go with the one you thought I was going to go with. I know you were thinking I was going to go with Giassi's artist.
No,
Oh, that's not what you thought I was going to go with.
for best player, or I'm sorry, for most surprising player.
Yeah,
No, that's not who I thought you were going with.
I thought that was a surprise as well. This artist thing. I didn't think he would just like clean get removed from the starting 11 and have to force a move away in order to save his World Cup chances.
Especially because Miguel Berry hasn't been like a world beater.
Oh, he's got 1 goal this season.
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. My pick for most surprising is left back Pedro Santos.
Yep, that's who I thought you were going with.
Okay, I thought you were thinking Zardes, but yeah, Santos is. It's similar to Raheem Edwards' situation where it's a guy obviously hasn't played left back really much before. I think Santos maybe had a little bit of experience with it, but has transitioned pretty darn well to left back. He's got a 7.4 rating in 810 minutes. Has not missed a single minute for this team at 34, by the way. That's pretty impressive. He has been. We knew there was going to be issues with the left back position, seeing as how they literally don't have a single left back on roster from what it looks like. So for him to slide in there and basically seamlessly fill that role has been phenomenal for them. Speaking of phenomenal, oh, you're not going to like that transition. We're talking about NYCFC. Didn't intentionally go for the phenomenal there. Underperforming or overperforming? I feel like this is an interesting
to me.
This is an interesting one. Underperforming or overperforming?
After 9 games, they are performing. They started off the coldest team in the league, and they are now currently the hottest team in the league, and that's not a question. 14 goals in the last 3 games, only 4 goals against, 2 shutouts. They are.
Look who they played against.
Okay, so we can't use that, and as much as I'd love to, we can't use that if we're going to say that Austin FC is not allowed to have that against them when we talk about them being good, right?
I didn't think I used it against them.
No. What I'm saying is we were defending Austin by everybody saying, "Oh, are they real or are they not?" And people were saying, "Oh, they're not real because they're not playing against great teams." Well, it doesn't matter, right? If City were beating the Toronto FC and the San Jose like 1-0, 2-1, then it's okay. They are blowing these teams out of the water. And yes, they're playing at baseball stadiums. Yes, they're not playing at regulation size fields, whatever. They're legit. And I don't like saying that, but they are. They're coming into their form. They're performing well. Their star players are getting off the mark. Yeah. They are performing. Talk to me in 9 more games and we'll talk about if they're overperforming or underperforming.
Yeah, I agree with you on the performing. I think the best way to sum it up, beginning of the season underperforming, and at this point, I would say overperforming with their last 3 games.
Yeah.
They're obviously not going to carry that form the rest of the season. I still think this team is pretty thin. I don't think there's a lot of depth on this team. So if they start picking up injuries, this team might be in trouble. Who's been the best player for you?
Santi Rodriguez. I will not say Tati Castellanos because he scored 4 goals against an RSL side. 2 of them were pens and 1 of them was a giveaway. I won't say it. Santi Rodriguez has dragged this team to relevancy. We talk about what happened in CCL as well. He was massive. He scored the goal against Seattle in CCL. And I know they got knocked out in that game, but when they played against Comunicaciones as well in the first leg of that game where they what was it? It was a 3-1 win, right? He had a goal in that game as well, maybe an assist. I think he might have had an assist in that one as well. He's just been all over the place for this team, really putting in good shifts, good results. I've been impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I've been really impressed with the way that he's played. Last season, I think he wasn't as good as he probably should have been, but I think he's been really good this year.
Yeah, I am going to go along the same lines that you did. I am not going to go Tati.
Good.
Basically for the same reasoning. Yeah, I mean, he was really bad at the start of the season and then scored 4 goals in one game and basically revived his entire season in one game. I'm going to go with Tyus Magno, though. I've been super impressed with Tyus Magno this season. I think he has well exceeded my expectations for him. He's been in or he's like every time I watch, he's getting involved in goals. He's leading the team in assists this so far this season. I think he's second in assists in the entire league right now, behind Diego Fagundes. Has to obviously work on his goal scoring. That's something we've talked about before. I think in one of our weekly recaps, he gets himself in great positions, but only 1 goal right now to show for it. Obviously, that's a part of his game that I think he needs to improve. But so many great moments from him as well. A lot to look forward to for him. He's really his future is looking pretty bright right now, and I feel like he fits in with this team really well. This is like a super fun attack. I know you don't. You may not admit it or not, but I think this team is super fun to watch attacking wise. They're just all young, talented players. Like this is what the league should be doing.
I don't disagree, but I would prefer them to be fun, attacking, expansive, and explosive on a field that my U13s can play on.
That's a discussion for another time.
I mean, it's a discussion for every time.
We can go into that. We save it for headlines. And you can go off about how they don't ever have a stadium. 4th place, believe it or not.
Are we doing surprising?
It's surprising that I forgot about surprising. Yes, we are doing surprising.
Now, I don't care. The less I have to talk about this team, the better. But
no. We got to do surprising. What do you got?
Thiago Martins, DP signing as a center back, fills in for an injured Maxime Chanot and has been bang average at best. I think he's been really subpar from what I've watched of him. I thought he'd be a lot better in the air dealing with services and stuff like that. Not nearly as good as I think he probably should be. But yeah, again, I was just surprised with the DP level. Probably should be a little bit better than that.
Yeah, it still shocks me that he's on a designated player's contract. I can't even imagine what this team would look like if they had another designated player spot open and didn't waste it on a center back. Especially when you have 2 solid center backs already. I don't know why they needed to go sign a designated player one. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I don't mind the decision, but I think the contract, he's not playing up to the contract. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough. I would say surprise for me. It's kind of tough. It still surprises me. I mean, no, I can't say that's surprising. I was leaning towards maybe a Bear. He's only got 115 minutes, no starts this season, but he's not going to take Tati's place at striker at the moment. Not the way Tati has been playing, but I mean, he was their starting striker not too long ago. I could say maybe Gabriel Pereira, 117 minutes, 4 sub appearances. He's got 2 goals already, so pretty quick start for him. Otherwise, I don't have a ton, to be honest. Nothing too overly shocking. Maybe I would say their start to the season. I'll go with that. I'll pick that as my final one. Is the way that they played when they had to balance CCL and the league. I think that kind of showed, the fact that they are lacking depth because they were playing the same guys like every game, and their results kind of showed, the fact that they had to play so many games.
I think it's also important to comment on the Maximiliano Morales lack of goal contributions, right? Almost 500 minutes now and a single goal contribution. Not ideal, but just something I thought I'd throw out there. Man, I'm so jealous of MLS Gone Wild.
Why?
Guess who his next guest is?
I don't know.
Keaton Parks.
Oh, nice.
How does he do this?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to figure this out. But man, that's awesome. Good for him. Anyways,
Shall we?
we shall
CF Montreal are in 4th place right now.
talk about an overperformance.
Yeah, out of nothing. I mean, they were dead last for what felt like a while.
We were talking about, right? There was a point where they were 1-6. Right?
Yeah, I mean they are the hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about how NYC were there, but yeah, these guys beat us, Cincinnati, Vancouver, and Atlanta. Drew Philadelphia, drew Atlanta.
Should have beat Atlanta.
Yeah, and lost to their last loss was City when they kept trying to fight them back. This team's legit, man.
Yeah.
They're definitely overperforming.
Easiest question of your entire life. Best player on CF Montreal.
My boy, Victor Wanyama.
Wrong. Lassi Lapalainen.
Jordi Mihailovic playing his way into the national team.
He better be.
And all we got to know is when is this man going to leave?
Hopefully in the summer. I actually hope he gets the move, but then gets loaned back to finish out the MLS season.
That's what I'm thinking Montreal is going to push for.
Especially if they can get him a move to Bologna, it should be pretty easy for them to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, Jordy's their best player. That's not even a question. I mean, he's literally has a 7.5 rating on here. The next highest is Rudy Camacho with 6.88. I mean, he's levels above the rest of the team. What's been your biggest surprise so far?
I am drawn between the commitment of sticking with Breza after those really poor performances in the beginning of the season to allow him to finish out where he's at, mixed with the lack of Samuel Piette, their captain for the last couple of years.
I was just about to look that up because I was like, there's no way he's played that little.
The lack of Samuel Piette, their captain over the last couple of years, is a bit shocking, not super shocking. I mean, it's not like Piette is old, but he's sitting behind a Victor Wanyama, Ismael Kone, and Joaquin Torres midfield 3. No, it's not. It's just a 2. It's Kone and Wanyama. And then they play like a 3-4-2-1 type of thing. But yeah, just the lack of his inclusion is very interesting to me. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and get a move before the World Cup year, because I think he desperately wants to be involved.
So to give some context, he has been hurt for 80% of this year so far. He was out with an ankle injury for match days 1 through 8.
That makes more sense.
Yes. So he has slowly started to
get Montreal fans that I
things.
don't follow you with.
Just apologize to Patrick. That's probably about it.
My bad, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Breza. I definitely didn't expect him to play as poorly as he has, but he has just been miserably bad for them. I feel like he's cost them points. I mean, single-handedly, at least from the Atlanta game alone, has cost them 2 points this season. So I think they need to sort out the goalkeeper position, and then I just feel like this team is legit. But I will say, honorable mention for surprise is Kone. breaking into the team. He's only 19 years old. And he's
Yep.
locked down this spot right now. It's going to be hard for him to get dropped when Piet comes back and is back into fitness. I think at this point you almost have to consider, do you sub out Wanyama instead of Kone, or do you leave Piet on the bench?
You're gonna have to leave Piet on the bench until somebody proves that they can't be there.
Yeah, I think that's fair too.
Yeah, you can't. You don't mess with what's going on right now.
Yeah, definitely not.
Unless somebody falls disgustingly out of form. You
Yeah,
can't mess with it.
I feel like an injury would have to take someone out of this lineup at this point.
Yep.
All right. Good stuff on Montreal. Orlando City sitting in third right now.
Man, that is wild because I feel like they've been non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before though. 17 points is, 6 points ahead of 8th place right now, so could easily drop out of the playoffs in a snap. Overperforming or underperforming?
I have them barely getting into the playoffs. I'll say overperforming.
Yeah, I think overperforming as well. I'm surprised that they only have a +1 goal difference this season. Maybe they haven't been playing super well, but just have been able to scrap wins, which, I mean, in this league, maybe that's all you need to do. Just, scrap enough wins when you're in bad form. And then, when things start to get going now, all of a sudden, the team's looking strong. This may or may not be a tough question for you. I feel like it won't be. Best player.
Facundo Torres.
Ooh, that's not where I thought you were going to go.
There's always one question left, friend. He stepped on and been a complete difference maker for this side. You can tell the way the game changes. Again, I don't watch Orlando religiously, but you could tell the way the game changed when he stepped on the field versus when he came off. Just different gravy, this guy, as they like to say.
Yeah, Chris Mueller was fantastic for Orlando, but Facundo Torres has stepped in and raised that level for Orlando. I mean,
Absolutely.
just based off last season, I think Chris Mueller at his best is competing with Facundo Torres, but based on what Mueller brought to the table in his last season, Torres has really upped that level and helped Orlando City big time. He's my best player as well. I thought you were going to go with most likely your surprise pick, but I will let you talk about your surprise pick now.
Mauricio Pereira only having 2 assists.
No,
but
come on,
Alexander Pato having 4 goal assists. Comeback player of the year, baby.
I don't know about that.
Him. I can't believe I didn't pick him.
I don't even remember who we picked. It's probably in here somewhere.
I've got it on the Instagram.
I'll find it if you want to keep talking about Pato.
Comeback player of the year for me was Aaron Long. Couldn't not pick Aaron Long, but he's a close second. My boy Pato, who was supposed to have a breakout year last year, got hurt, thought he was done, came back, and is now the best player on Orlando by far. 4 goal contributions. By far.
Oh, Lord.
4 goal contributions, even with anybody else on the team. Him and Kara make a really good duo up top. Basically, he is going to win another Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or?
No, that was Kaká. It's different Brazilian in Orlando. He's going to win the Ballon d'Or, like his friend Kaká, and just go straight to the moon, really.
Biggest surprise for me, the lack of Andres Perea this year. I guess I could say, it's a little bit surprised, a little bit expected. I mean, they have so many players in that position at this point because they went and added Cesar Araujo as well. But I feel like he was an up and coming, youth USMNT star coming up for Orlando. And this season he is got 1 start, 5 sub appearances, and only 115 minutes. So I think at this point he's been pretty much relegated out of the rotation, or I shouldn't say out of the rotation. I mean, he's still in the rotation, it seems like, but he's like fourth choice at this point. I feel like he should be looking to get a move somewhere because I think he's good enough to be starting on another team. I would take him at Atlanta, honestly.
Nice.
All right, two more to go. This one's gonna take a while.
We
We're
love you.
talking.
We love you. We love you.
We're talking the winless at home Red Bulls.
We follow, especially on the road. The road. The
Only on the road.
because we can't win anywhere else.
Underperforming, overperforming.
Anybody who's saying this team isn't doing anything but overperforming right now is out of their mind. This team on paper. What's our oldest player? Aaron Long at 29. The next oldest is Ashley Fletcher at 26. Tom Barlow's our third oldest player. Yeah, this team is a USL squad playing MLS minutes. Like, this is the system, baby. This is the system at work.
Yeah, overperforming for sure.
No doubt.
To be honest, though, if you look at this team, they really are like better on paper than I think we gave them credit for. It's a deep team that's got it's pretty spread talent.
Where do you see deep team? Our entire depth is a bunch of teenagers, bro.
I mean, you got I don't know the depth chart, but I would say, Caden Clark's like one of the biggest
Caden
up and
Clark's had like
coming.
2 appearances this season.
I know. Didn't Ashley Fletcher come over from the Premier League? They came over from
Watford.
All right, fine.
Okay, here's what I'll tell
Probably
you.
not as deep as I thought.
They are not as deep as you think. Stop giving us credit. Damn it. All right, so your goalkeeper is Carlos Coronel, Ryan Mara, or a Division III goalkeeper, AJ Marcucci from Connecticut College. Aaron Long, Sean Nealis, injured Andres Reyes, or Lucas Monzon, who is playing at Red Bull 2 right now. John Tolkien or Jason Pendant, who has not played in 2 years. Tom Edwards or Dylan Nealis. Okay, we're pretty deep at right back. Let's go. Our only true defensive midfielder is Daniel Edelman, who I think has a ton of potential, but hasn't had any minutes. Christian Caceres, Drew Yearwood as true number 8s with 15-year-old Bento Estrella playing as another center mid. Attacking mids, Luquinhas, Frankie Amaya, cool. Caden Clark, 18 years old. Wiki Carmona, 19 years old. Lewis Morgan on the left wing with, that's right, nobody to back him up. Year of Omir Fernandez on the right wing with Cameron Harper, hasn't played in 2 years. Serge Ngoma, 16 years old. And then up top, Patrick Komala, Ashley Fletcher, backed up by Tom Barlow, and super draft pick Zach Ryan. So anywhere you want to show me depth in this squad,
Yeah, that team was really lacking depth. Yeah, I didn't realize how much you guys were lacking depth.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're just riding a high and it'll come down eventually, and I'm fully expecting it to, by the way. But yeah, I wouldn't call this a deep team.
No, yeah, that's fair. It is not a deep team. Best player? Did we talk about that? I don't think we did.
But that's easy too. Frankie Amaya has been an absolute monster in the center of midfield for New York Red Bull this season. Only 2 assists to show for it, but I believe he's top 5 in chances created or tackles, one of the 2, maybe both. Hold on one sec. Let's check. Chances created, no. Tackles, 1. Or he was, all right, maybe he was there a couple weeks ago. I know he was there. Full key passes list. Okay, definitely wasn't key passes. Tackles 1. Yeah, there he is. He's up there in tackles 1. So he's been a really good 6'8", and then transition into Luquinhas to pick up the ball and create chances.
I'm gonna go with Lewis Morgan. I think he has been a phenomenal signing for you guys. Has really rediscovered his form here when he's not playing right back, which is great. Good job, Red Bull, not to mess that up. Top goal
For the
scorer.
magic words.
What? That he was worth the money. Yes, he ended up being
Connor Wright was wrong to say that they overpaid for Lewis Morgan. I want to hear it.
I already said this before.
Say it again.
I was wrong that they overpaid for Lewis Morgan.
Come on.
Yes, he's been great for you guys. Top goal scorer. Really influential even outside of scoring goals for you guys as well. Yeah, not much else to add. Biggest surprise for you?
Year of Omir Fernandez. My boy has finally broken into what we have expected him to grow into for the last 4 years. He comes in and he is impacting the game so brilliantly. 2 goals, 1 assist in 600 minutes or so. It's less about his contribution and more about getting into good areas, creating good chances, which is all what the system is, right? So he is drawing fouls, he's getting in good areas, setting players up for success. Year of Omir Fernandez is in full effect, baby.
I don't know if I have something specific. I feel like the whole season so far for Red Bull has been pretty surprising. I don't think many people expected them to be playing as well as they have been. But I mean, they've looked super strong. They've looked like one of the better teams in the league so far. Obviously, need to stay healthy if that's going to continue. But I think overall, the whole season for Red Bull has been a good surprise for them. Stuber has done a really good job with this team, way better than I expected him to do. So that's my surprise. On to the last team in the East. We are almost done, and we will wrap it up with the Philadelphia Union. This one should be pretty easy. Underperforming or overperforming?
This team's just annoying. Why does nobody throw a red flag when this team went 4 games in a row without conceding a goal? Why did nobody know this?
When did they do that?
Exactly. From the 13th of March to the 9th of April, they never conceded a goal.
I see that.
What are we? This team is so annoying. Nobody even knows they exist. And yet here they are just sitting at the top of the East. Oh, look at me. 1-0 win, 2-0 win. Look at me. God. Yeah, they're overperforming, but they're annoying as hell.
I think they're performing just where I expected them to be.
Where did I predict them to be?
You had them second.
Oh, yeah, sure. Whatever.
How could you not think this team was going to be towards the top of the East? I mean, they keep their team every single year. We know that they're rock solid everywhere on the field, especially defensively. And they added some good attackers this year. So it shouldn't be a surprise that they're top of the East. But what may come as a surprise is deciding who the best player has been for them.
This one's not super difficult for me.
Go for it.
Andre Blake has been a man on an absolute mission.
When is he not?
Right. So the only person who has a better save percentage after a quick look is my boy Dane St. Clair, but Blake has also played 2 more games, so and seen 5 less shots. So, what is that? His goals against average, if I can't sort by goals against average, but his goals against average is a 0.67. For anybody who has like legitimate starts, again, the only other person who's close is Dane St. Clair, but Andre Blake is an absolute monster, and I'm just tired of seeing him be really good.
No, you're not.
4
I mean,
clean
yeah,
sheets
you
in-
might be. You might be kind of tired of that.
4 clean sheets in 9 games. Stupid.
I am gonna go with Jack Elliott, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I feel like he's had a good season so far. He,
That
let's see, which defender am I gonna go with? No, I think he's the stronger center back out of him and Gleesnes. You could obviously go Kai Wagner, could never go wrong there, but I'm gonna go Jack Elliott. I think he's so far this season he's making a strong case for him being the defender of the year. I think it definitely helps when you have such a strong back line to support you, but he took a big step up last season and was one of the better center backs and continued it right into this season where, like you said, went on a 4-game streak of keeping clean sheets. So not surprising. It could go with a lot of guys on this team, but I'm gonna go with Jack Elliott. I again am channeling my inner Adam.
I'm about to say the only thing that we're doing here is letting Adam exist.
Biggest surprise?
Julian Carranza? Are we kidding? This man was non-existent in Inter Miami for 2 seasons and then just suddenly pops up in Philly and just starts tucking away goals, getting some assists, 5 goal contributions in 500 minutes. Like, again, why Philly? Why did Philly get that? Philly don't deserve that. Philly have already been good.
What do you mean? Why don't they deserve that?
Because they've already been good. You know who deserves that? FCC. They're on their way to the moon, and they need somebody like that.
They don't need Carranza. They have Brandon Vasquez.
Yeah, but who are you going to put next to Brandon Vasquez? Dominic Baji?
Brenner.
Or Julian Carranza? Exactly.
Brenner. My biggest surprise is the lack of youngsters minutes this season.
Yeah.
Philly's known as a team that plays their young guys, develops talent through their youth system. And the young, they still have a bunch of young up and coming stars on their team. And they really haven't gotten minutes so far this season. Jack McGlynn's got 76 minutes. Quinn Sullivan's got 133. Paxton Aaronson's only got 44. And then that's it. Otherwise, they don't have minutes. I mean, they have a couple guys who are younger still, like Flock and Julian Carranza, who are only 21. What?
Nathan Harriel.
Yeah, he's 21 as well. But in terms of like the teenagers, which I feel like they usually give a lot more minutes to, really haven't seen that much this season.
Well, you have a bunch of players who are still on loan, by the way. So you got like Jack DeVries, who is at Venezia, right? Who is on loan from Philadelphia. So, really what they should do is loan those guys out, but the MLS loan system is funky.
Well, they need somebody to play on the bench.
Yeah.
According to Adam, it's one of the best benches in the league.
No,
I'm
I'm not going there. I'm not going there tonight. It is way too late for that.
Yes, I think we're done. Wrap us up.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Oh man, it is late. We have done a lot of recording today, but we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you you comment and let us know what you think about our thoughts. What else you got to add, Connor? You want anything else?
No, I want to be done.
Me
I'm
too.
tired.
Yeah, well, that's the tough part of being full-time podcasters and full-time adults.
Employees.
You gotta balance of both. So thanks everybody for listening, watching. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcast. So, when we go live, follow us on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and make sure you let your friends know that we are doing this so that they can go back and listen to all 101 other episodes and then this one. You can all do that before 103 comes out, right? Probably.
I'm sure you can.
Give it a shot. Let's find out. And then let us know. And if you didn't, try 2 days and then let us know. And if you didn't, try 3 days and let us know. But thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.